Ashley to mute my phone. Welcome to the Come On Come On Live Hangout. Nice to see you guys. Oh, this should still be playing. There we go. Oh, I think we're getting some feedback from somebody else's. Must be watching us going live. How you guys doing tonight? It's nice to see you, Marissa and Ashley.
It's always nice to see you.
Very good.
Yeah, so
Very
great
good.
to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, hopefully engaging with some people today. Real excited to have this time to kind of come together and reflect each week in this space as part of Com One Com All. So want to let people know about what we do, provide space and resources for people to get more grounded. We've got circles that we host every Thursday. We do this live stream, but we've got a lot of excellent things on the website just to help people kind of get grounded in themselves in this strange time. So my name is Hannah Gant. I am in New London, Connecticut, and am joined by, let's go to Ashley.
Hello, my name is Ashley Norris, and I am located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, and I'm Marissa Gant. I'm Hannah's twin sister, joining you all from Seattle, Washington. So it's kind of fun to be with two other people across the United States on different time zones, just reflecting on what's happening in our.
Trying to get a read on the Facebook. So, and I wish that I had. I was looking for some like fireworks display that I could overlay. I think part of what we're experiencing right now as a country, or at least maybe 51% of the country, is kind of a post-election celebration. So I know I saw in my feed over the weekend just people out in the streets like making noise and celebrating.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was definitely not as celebratory as I would have expected. It actually caused a little bit of apprehension. Like, okay, I'm glad that things aren't terrible. And I did not go out and celebrate, but I'm very happy to see that other people did.
Out and hoot and holler. So that was interesting. Hadn't really experienced that before. But I heard that also happened in other neighborhoods and joyous, and that people were relieved and uh, and out in Seattle. But that's at least what I was seeing and sensing and noticing.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess my major apprehension with celebrating outdoors was not knowing how the losers were going to react, and almost just wanting to like shelter in place just for safety, because I feel like my neighborhood is generally safe. I've had some issues lately, but uh, I didn't want to go to entice. Like, I didn't want to go and be like put myself in the middle of a position where it's like you don't really know. Just like this, I have a tendency to. I always have the tendency to overanalyze, but in this situation, I was like, okay, let's see what's gonna happen. Like, um, I'm very happy, but also like, all right, what's next? What are they gonna do to respond?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's, it's like we said, like it's really phenomenal that how divided our country is. You know, like I find that to be um, kind of like unsettling. And you know, we don't, I mean, Trump isn't out, and he has said it, this is like kind of far from over. I know that he's not obviously going to kind of graciously exit. And but I'm also just thinking about you know, Trump as you know, it's not just about Trump. It's really about you know, the whole it's just
That's a
Yeah,
crazy aspect of what played out, just the dividedness. Like, that was kind of shocking to me, to even though I didn't think it was going to be as close of an election as it turned out to be. So, um, and just kind of points to how how you know what will be the path forward for our country, given that it seems like there really is different ideologies happening. So it's kind of crazy scenario.
I mean, I think that there's always been different ideologies going on in this country. As a black woman, I will say we saved y'all, number one, because like 99% of black women or something crazy like that didn't vote for Trump. And people of color in general did not vote for him either. And I think people of color came out in large numbers this time. But I would say that if anything, it just shows how much division, like it's what you're saying, how much division there is still. Like even after all the things that happen, all the terrible things that happen to this country, people are still like, yeah, I'm voting for that guy again. And that was like super sad. And I think that this and figuring out how to and you know it's just step one. It's the beginning.
kind of talked about as part of like the champagne glasses is um, it's
Wrong
wrong. Yeah,
direction.
yeah, that was good. Yeah, you got it's not the end, and there's things that we but it is you know, it's there's a transition that's happening. And as much as there's kind of cause for celebration, something that we wanted to invite people to need to kind of clear energy, do some purging and detoxing. So we thought that we would kind of, you know, popcorn that a little bit and some of the sage, and you know, help this energy to pass. So yeah. Uh, yeah, what are some of the? I mean, why do you guys think that's important? And is there anybody who's joining us today who could, you know, in the chats that wants to kind of chime in?
I think that one of the things that I feel is that okay, there's promise that maybe things will get better now, as opposed to if reminded of that because of Snapchat. But basically, it was really sad, and I mean that was
That
like
was so
wow, this is
crazy.
the it was crazy, and I can't believe that he's gotten away with so much stuff. And I feel like if anything, we need to make sure he doesn't try to leave the country because he should be in jail, hopefully within the next 6 months. But I just feel like for me, it's like a release of the tension that I've been holding in. What is he gonna say on Twitter? Like, oh my God, every day it seemed like there was something else that happened, and now it's like we don't have to worry about that anymore, which is really helpful with when it comes to that day-to-day mental anxiety. So I'm relieved mostly for my daily mental health that I will no longer have to worry about what the president of the United States is doing to basically like damage our reputation for the world.
Yeah, totally agree. And I noticed that Marissa's up there in the corner yawning. And that's like that's something that you do a lot, not just when you're tired. Can you speak to that a little bit, Marissa? Why you yawn sometimes?
Well,
Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
do. Yeah, I do. It is a form of energy release. It's one of the ways in which our bodies naturally can uh, process and be able to clear something out. So it's something to be mindful when you're in the midst of a scenario that can feel overwhelming or heavy. Just notice your body's reaction, and if it does start yawning, it may not be associated with being tired. It may be a sign that you're working energy and releasing energy. So yeah, and I will say in terms of the purging negative energy and just the the negative energy and purging and detox, all of those, we are all going to experience our different ways of kind of processing and uh, individually going through this transitional time. You know, what's happening in the political sphere is a conglomeration of all of our energy together, helping why we've been through this last 4 years. And you know, if you zoom out, there have been other presidents that have also been challenging and have done really crazy things. Each of these transition points, they are an opportunity to do your own kind of inquiry into what you're processing and digesting, because as an individual it is powerful to go through and to consciously let go and to work to digest and process what's happening, because it does send out ripples to the collective. And there are many ways of purging and clearing energy. um, Yawning and smudging is one, and I would say smudging also, it's important to have um, care of what you're using to smudge. um, Sage is a really uh, important plant for Native Americans, and one in which to just, you know, thank Native Americans and be careful in using sage as a smudging tool. But there's, you know, needles or mugwort or lavender, different kinds of plants that can clear and clear in different ways. So um, you know, you can get creative and do some research and kind of fine tune what it is that you're looking to process, and have the plants speak with you, have a dialogue with them. So those, I feel like I spoke on a number of different things, but those are some thoughts of mine.
Yeah, well, and not just thoughts in this space. So, um, and I
That's
feel
really
like
good to hear that there could be ways that energy is being released, because I know today I've been having a lot of anxiety issues, in particular, and I'm a little familiar with the healthcare world, and sometimes I get afraid that I'm like having a stroke or something, because my chest starts to get really tight, my throat starts to get really tight, my arm starts to get like a little numb, and my leg starts to feel weird and like on one side, and I'm like, I have a tendency to overthink, and I'm like, am I stroking? Am I literally like stroking right now? And like, if I was, like, who, And so today I went on a walk right before this, because I had been in the house most of the day and just needed to get some fresh air, breathe, change my environment, and it helped. And then as soon as I came back home, my hands started to get like clenchy again and kind of like you know how when your hand starts to fall asleep and it starts to feel a little numb, like
Yeah.
you can't really move it as
Yeah.
well. And I'm hoping that this anxiety I've been feeling is me releasing something I'm not even really consciously aware of. Because even though I've had a very interesting last hour, or I'm sorry, day, I wasn't feeling that tension in the moment. And so acting this way was, something that's really wrong with me, but it's just something more subconscious, like you were talking about, like energy releasing. Is there any way to know if your energy is being released other than, like you were saying, like what these reactions, or is it?
I mean, I think this is there's not like a like no with absolute certainty. But your and just pay attention to your state of being, kind of like a before and after entered and getting grounded and knowing and like assessing, checking in with yourself is like, is do I feel different, is there a shift that has happened?
Yeah, and I think a lot of this stuff is really subtle. I mean, it depends on what, you know, how in tune you are with your body and what it's going through itself in regards to how pronounced the shift is going to be. Some people really do feel like a whole lightness of being, or, like a weight off their shoulders, or like their digestion system will start to really work a lot better as it was more kind of clogged and felt like it was having a hard time processing something. But that can even go down to the small intestines and big intestines. Starts at a energy level, and then if we continue to kind of not not metabolize it, it'll show up in our physical body in some form or fashion, and show up differently for everyone. But and what I feel like I'm working through has been really so helpful, and something that kind of have more open communication with my body, because it can kind of help to signal what is happening and what I'm going through. So I'd say begin just take notes on it, and it will. The more you focus on it, the more it has the potential to get clearer um, for you of what is happening.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
wish that there was a crystal ball.
Yeah. I think someone should have a crystal ball next time we say that.
Yeah.
Just pull it out. Yeah. But I think, that I think we wanted to kind of touch on with this theme of, clearing negative energy, purging, like the energy. I actually think there's concrete things you can do to kind of clear energy and to purge and to detox. Um, and so, and that's what I heard kind of, Marissa sharing, and I wanted to kind of popcorn a little bit about that thing. For me, something that I have found really helpful is just kind of cleaning and organizing my living space. I think that on me as I go big, in our living spaces, and just the act of tending and caring, your immediate environment, and like finding a home for things, creating order, and help kind of in different ways things to release and move and flow. That's definitely in which we are, as I said, as we've kind of talked about, is like, see a lot of champagne toasting. People are really celebrating. Trump leaving. Hopefully, that's what happens. But it's also, maybe even to help it happen, invite people to think about some things that they could do to really help negative energy to move. So for organizing my living space and putting things in order is really helpful. This topic, one idea that has come to me that I'm going to pursue with my girlfriend Nikki is just a dedicated yoga session to. Oh, I'm gonna look around, see if there's anything in particular that's designed for that, and I'll share that on the on social with Come One Come All, because I think that's a resource that other people would benefit from.
Yeah, I agree totally with the clean space. I mopped yesterday for the first time, and God knows how
I
long
never
because
mop.
I was, oh God. I mean, I was gone a lot of the summer, so I didn't mop for a while, and I have
Yeah,
hardwood floors throughout my whole house, so it's like it's easy to not see the dirt.
right,
But it's so nice when you know the floors are clean and you can actually feel it a little bit.
right.
Um, and yeah, I actually washed my windows the other day outside. And that was also something that
Wow, that's
I can
amazing.
tell. I mean, it's a once in a year thing I try to do because it really makes a huge difference to be able to have like unfiltered light come through your house. And so right before it gets too cold, I figured it's a good time to clean my windows. So I did that, and it's just I could definitely I feel lighter and things feel brighter in my space, but I still have a little ways to go for sure. My room that you cannot see is not as clean as the room you can see, so it's it's a work in progress. But it definitely said before getting out, breathing fresh air. It's been very unseasonably warm today. I still had my anxiety little mini attack today, so it was like, but I think, like I was saying, being able to recognize it, being able to say, hey, I'm probably processing something that subconsciously that I haven't actually realized yet. It could be this election. And I need to do one of my top 5 things to do when I'm going through something like this. And almost all of them have to do with physical activity. So I was just like, I need to go for a walk. And it actually really helped.
I believe you. I went for a run today, and yeah, I mean, physical activity is such a mood changer. Really shifts, can shift the dynamic, and it's like I never regret doing it. It can be sometimes hard to motivate.
Yeah, physical exercise is so just there is being able to in your everyday life have things that make you feel healthy and vibrant and your best self, and exercise is definitely a big one for me. I would also say, we all have different emotions coming up, and some people are more frazzled or more anxious or depressed. And, it's everyone's journey in terms of feeling in and recognizing those emotions, but there is something to be said around really processing and kind of journaling or reflecting on the emotions that are coming up so that you can kind of lean into it and potentially clear some of the energy that might be look at there's Ashley that
Yeah,
might be
got
holding you
got
back
her
or
got
keeping
her
you
journal.
stuck.
Love it. Yeah,
And then another thing is just, to honor whatever losses or whatever, aspects of grieving that you may be experiencing, because this has been a crazy last 4 years, and there is uncertainty with the COVID and stay at home orders, and what the rest of the fall and winter is going to look like for all of us. And it's going to take some time in a challenging place as a country. So I think something that has helped me find grounding and hard, and yet the sun is always going to come out. And how is it that you can hold all of that and be able to keep going? I think it to some degree it's like a mind frame of not having such extreme thinking or belief system, but allowing for more gray and more colors, I guess you could also say, in your thinking, in terms of just having a stance that can allow you to go through the different energies that we're going to be experiencing.
I mean, as you were talking, I was remembering that our circle this week that you're hosting with Liz Smith is specifically dedicated to grieving. So, is you want to explain a little bit about that? For
Yeah.
our large viewing audience.
Yeah, this is us that Calm One, Calm All, we've been offering, that Liz Smith, a friend of mine, and I have put together, that is a deeper circle experience, really giving the opportunity for people to voice the grief that they have been experiencing, that has arisen the last 8 months, but really it also is a space that holds that can hold anyone, hold a container for anyone and their grief that they may be encountering, because this time in our history really has been markedly different, and we all, because of being kind of shaken out of our automatic lifestyle, it brings up a lot of different, heading down a new path, and it's ambiguous and uncertain where we are gonna get to, and so helping people to name grief they're experiencing and to honor that grief, and to equip people with ways in which to process grief going forward, because we do really need everyone to show up as their full self and empowered self, and now clean out those cobwebs and to do some work that will allow you to really be your powerful self. So yeah, come join us this Thursday from 7 to 9. We will likely hold more of these grieving ceremonies, but you can visit Calm One, Calm All, Calm All's website for more information.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. I feel like, similar to the yawning, I think that your dog is also releasing some energy.
Yeah. Is she in the picture there, or can I?
When it's just you, you can absolutely see Ella, and yeah, she was just sawing some logs, snoring.
Yeah. She had a hard day. She has no qualm about releasing her tension and stress.
Yeah. Well, animals are a lot of animals are really good at that, and that's kind of like, part of the foundation of somatic work. So look forward to getting somebody in here to join us one of these days to educate us a little more about that. But yeah, that was hilarious. So, um, cool. Well,
Is it time to burn? Yeah.
what was that, Ashley?
Is it time to burn the sage yet?
I was just gonna say, look, I think it's time to to burn it down. Let's burn some sage. Um,
I just happen to have some sage right there.
yeah, Marissa, do you have any?
I do not have any where I'm at right now, but I'll be feeling into the sage that you both
Okay,
are burning or
great.
smudge.
All right, let's do it. So, really, oh, is Josh home? So I'm gonna brush some over myself. I'm gonna blow it at the camera. I'm gonna call for clearing and good energy. I'm gonna call for the passing of negative energy, um, and for the prevailing of unity and a higher level of consciousness um, to me, us, this society, this world. Is there anything you guys would add?
I think that for me, I would like to help purge a lot of the transition moments in my life that have been happening. 2020 has been a very transitional period for me, and as I'm sure it has a lot of other. This is to continue, for me, to continue the faith that all of these transitions are actually super positive, even though they might is the idea that everything's okay now, we can go back to normal. No. No. Can we please not go back
Yeah,
to
normal
normal?
is crazy town.
Other than the whole like seeing people thing, which is something that I'm missing the most out of all this. That and just the general fear of dying that has prevailed. But basically, this is me trying to reassure myself that I'm in a safe space and that I am following my intuition and continuing to follow my intuition, and that we are headed in the right direction, no matter how painful it may be, and how there might be some days that we take a couple steps back, and that's okay. It's not supposed to be linear, but I think that even just being a part of Calm One, Calm All to me is, a sign that we are headed in the right direction. And so I look forward to our weekly Monday live streams to live through this transition. We will continue to share our experiences with the world and have the world share their experiences with us. So that is what this sage represents. And I did not rehearse that or plan any of that. It just kind of came off the cuff, but shit's real. Shit is real. So
Yeah.
So encourage you all to join us for a circle session on Thursdays as we continue to hold space for what's transpiring during these really unprecedented times.
Cool. All right. I'm going to put this down in some sand. That was really nice, you guys.
I don't have any sand. You didn't tell me to bring sand.
Well, you got to put...
Do I?
Beauty.
I usually just let it go. I
You
just let it
go?
burn.
What's the protocol,
Usher.
Marissa?
Yeah, sand is
Let it burn, because we are live. But I'm gathering that singing might be in our future
Definitely.
or my future.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, always a pleasure, and look forward to the grief session this Thursday, and future hangouts. And I'm really glad to be doing this with, and I probably wouldn't be dedicating a yoga practice to releasing this kind of negative energy, and
So one of my
not
other
put in my
friends
life.
recommended one of my other friends recommended yin yoga today. Can you explain again the yoga that you were talking about, and like, so you were specifically talking about releasing negative energy, like, um is that something that involves, do you think it involves more movement or less movement? Because I know yin yoga is like very, lay there and or you hold positions
Yeah,
pretty
you
long.
right. You relax into yeah, different asanas, different
So
positions
do you
that you
think
hold.
that releasing negative energy is more, quick or slow? Just kind of curious.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be speculation on my part, 'cause I haven't done the research yet, but I just know I'm motivated to do so. So, but I will post what I find on social, so you'll be able to see it. Other people will be able to see it, and yeah, we'll just make that the theme for this week. So cool. All right.
Yeah, this was great
Thank you.
talking with you both.
Yeah, definitely.
Thumbs up. All right. I'm gonna kick it out. All right.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good night.
That's right.